the highest bough. And have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Don't worry if you can't buy me anything for Christmas this year. No hurry, 'cause we got the rest of our lives, year after year, and you're my real cheer. You're my real cheer. So when money is tight, as long as everything's alright, you're my present. 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 Just because, unlike Santa Claus, I think it's nice when you're naughty. Want you to understand, your touch is better than anything you could have ever bought me. It's a great Yuletide as long as I have you by my side. You're my present. You're my present. You're my present. And there just ain't a lot that can measure up to the gift I got, 'cause you're my present. You're my present. You're my present. Yes, you're my present. You're my present.
Crowd noise?
No, that's actually me brewing. I don't know how brewer sounds, but that's my brewer.
You mean like
Yeah, brewer. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
like
Will
that.
Sutton, and this is Ro Brown, and we are cold.
Mm-hmm.
But we're happy to be inside the warmth of the WBOK family of listeners. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't tucked your head out there, it is not chilly. It is cold. It is cold. When I got up, it was 32 degrees.
That's freezing.
Yeah, it was 32 degrees, and tucked my head back in. Got myself together. I grabbed the big, heavy Chicago jacket, the one with the lining and the hood.
So you got my hunting-looking thing.
Yeah.
I don't hunt, but, one of those.
Right. Well, I'm in the habit of grabbing a jacket and flying out the door, not zipping it up.
I'm not in the
that
habit
kind of
of
thing,
grabbing a jacket.
Yeah, and so I zipped this jacket up, boy, because it's cold out there. I
wore a
didn't make enough
kneecap.
time to try to find gloves. I don't wear a glove on a regular basis.
I rarely wear anything on my head, but when it's cold enough, I do.
Yeah,
And it's cold enough today.
it's cold enough. Well, I almost grabbed a different cap or hat, but I needed to get here. So here we are. Well, happy Monday, everybody. Hope you had a joyous weekend. There's a lot of stuff that happened this weekend, and there's a lot of stuff that happened yesterday and today. And we're going to be getting into some conversation today about quite a number of things, and that includes what the heck happened? The Saints won a game. Saints won a game. And we had
they've won 2 in a row. I'll have
that's
you know.
right. Yeah, and we had a whole series of high school state championship playoff games at the Superdome Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and we had a purple and gold team win.
Yes.
On Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
Yep. And I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff that's been doing. Oh, Tulane. Yep. Developments.
Right. Yeah. They play Friday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. LSU. They
What about them?
let's see. LSU. They
They're playing in the Texas Bowl.
Right. They're
Yeah.
playing the Texas Bowl. That's what that was.
That's around New Year's or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
One of those bowls.
Yeah. Meanwhile, people are being bad around the world. So this morning we are hearing about a Bondi Beach shooting. A couple of gunmen killed about 15 people in Sydney, Australia. Yesterday. And 2 of the people have been identified as Sahid Akram, 50, and his son Naveed Akram, 24, father and son. Older man died at the scene, and the son died after being in critical condition at the hospital. And this was seems to be a targeted shooting where Jewish people were gathering for a Hanukkah event.
Yeah.
Hanukkah event, a faith event. And people seem to, whoever these folks are, focus on them because they're Jewish.
Yeah.
It appears that there's a 10-year-old girl who also was injured, and lots of video because these days everybody got a camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Everything is videoed now, almost. Yeah. Everything is. Yeah. That's just that. I mean, shooting at Brown University over the weekend.
yeah.
Also.
Yep. Again, not something that
2 people.
Is, you want to see. They last I heard that they were searching for the suspect.
No.
I saw a report that said they had a suspect.
They have a suspect.
So,
Yeah. They tracked him down at a hotel somewhere or whatever.
Yeah.
And they had video of him on campus, whoever the shooter is. And, I mean, they're giving this person's name, so publicly. So I guess must be a pretty good suspect.
Yeah.
Showing pictures and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's an unfortunate situation there as well. And we, meanwhile, well after the end of the show on Friday, we had another City of New Orleans budget development because, as you all know, we had the mayor present her budget some months ago, October, and then the city council went with Mayor-elect Helena Moreno's budget, and that was passed on December 1st. Well, on Friday, the incumbent mayor, Latoya Cantrell, vetoed the $1.6 billion budget.
Which the
saying
mayor can do.
she is the mayor.
Okay. Now, can, like the president and Congress, can the veto be overridden?
It can be overridden, and it will.
I mean, it's just by a vote by the
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And since this city council
Yeah, and it will be
passed
overridden.
it unanimously,
Yeah.
and almost to a person said it's not what we want to do. It's not how we want to see this process work. We got to change the process, but we have to take care of the city. They voted, some of them holding their noses, but they voted in favor of this budget. And the mayor said, nope, I am not going to sign this into law.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe the numbers that you have come up with, these revenue estimates, these projections. And so I'm not going to sign on to this mess.
Mhm.
So
But if it's overridden, then
it
what?
becomes law.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So fully expect that the New Orleans City Council will take that action at its next meeting. Meanwhile, we've got lots of other things that we have to take care of with the city, and part of that is making sure that payroll is handled.
Mhm.
So part of the agreement with the Louisiana State Government, the Louisiana Legislative Auditor, is that it must meet every Wednesday to make sure that that money is being handled correctly.
is it me, or should I not be amazed that that hadn't been going on?
You should be amazed.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm just a sports guy.
This is one
Yeah.
of those cases, I think, I'm going to put it in a more average man employer situation where the manager kind of expects you to be doing your job.
Yeah.
And you don't really want the manager over your back all the time because you expect the manager to think
Mhm.
that you are
Mm-hmm.
doing your job. The manager
Yep.
should check in periodically and say how things going,
Mhm.
or looks like we had a snafu. How can we fix this? But the manager shouldn't be on top of you like all of the time.
Right.
Uh,
I got you.
well, they thought people were taking care of their job.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And they weren't.
who? We can still point from one person to another. But the reality is, by city charter, we have to have a budget, a balanced budget, and we do. But except it's been rejected by the mayor,
Mm-hmm.
and now city council is going to have to override that veto.
Okay.
Because I don't think the city charter says, except in cases where the mayor vetoes, then you have until December 31st. I don't think there's anything in the city charter like that.
Got
So we'll be watching those developments as well. Meanwhile, we have some local crime news as well. New Orleans police looking for a suspect after a woman was killed in the Holy Cross neighborhood over in my old
The
neck
lower
of the
Ninth Ward.
woods, lower Ninth Ward.
Mhm.
900 block of St. Maurice Street. Happened on Saturday, but they're still looking for the suspect through the weekend. And it wasn't clear if the woman lived at the home where the shooting happened or not.
Mm-hmm.
So the New Orleans Police Department and Crime Stoppers looking for any help. If you know something about that, 504-658-5300. 504-658-5300 if you want to call the police department. But if you want to call Crime Stoppers, you can do that. And you can talk anonymously, 504-822-1111. 504-822-1111. Well, are we okay with going through, or we want to take a break now before we get to the all right, cool. All right, just want to make sure we're rocking and rolling here. So let's move on into some of the things that happened locally. The Saints won a game.
Yes, they did.
Two.
Yeah, second in a row, and quite ring the bell. And to be perfectly honest, I mean, don't look now, but I mean, they played pretty well the last 3 or 4 games, to tell you the truth.
Even though they lost a couple of other games, they played well with those losses.
Yeah. Now I preface this with, and to me, the season, this wasn't a win. How many wins, how many losses season for me? This was a total rebuilding season.
You said that before they started.
I know. Yeah,
you did.
I didn't.
A bunch of people was like, "No, we can."
No,
like,
I just because it wasn't going to happen. Now some people are saying they're winning too many games because that means that they'll pick lower in the draft. Okay, I mean, what do you want? I mean,
right.
But and I mean, primarily, I mean, let's face it, the quarterback looked good.
Yeah,
2 drives, a tying drive and a game-winning drive for a field goal. So and he performed very well, and it doesn't mean he's ready for a Hall of Fame induction or anything.
No. I mean,
but
he's still a rookie.
But it makes it look like it gives them more clarity as to what they can do or should do with the draft.
Yeah,
who and what they should pick.
Yeah,
and so so it was good. Small crowd. And when I say small, they announced it at 64. A lot of empty seats for a Saints game, put it that way.
Right.
I mean, it didn't look, it was just sparse,
Right.
And there weren't just whole sections that were empty. No, it wasn't anything like that. But they said, 64, 65, which is probably accurate, just looking at it. Which, is a good crowd for most things.
Yeah.
And so, hey.
Yeah,
we'll see what's next. Who do they play next? The Jets. See, I don't even know who
they
they play next.
Jets.
Yeah, they play the Jets.
Jets.
Yeah,
it's the Jets.
They play
on the 20th or 21st?
21st.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the schedule. Yeah, the 21st. So this
not
Sunday.
exactly
That's the final home game of the year.
Not exactly one of NFL's best performing teams. Right
No. They could. They're in the same boat. They're rebuilding too. And so
I think we won 4, they won 3.
Something
like that.
Something like that. Yeah. So I told you, I'm really not paying attention.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, 4 games. 4 games.
Our grandsons, the grandparents, they're big Jets fans.
Oh, really?
Every week we're like, so, but we don't play that often.
I guess.
But,
exactly.
I sent a note to them yesterday, and it's like, okay, see you next week, and they were like, huh? It's like, because it's not like on a normal schedule.
Yeah. So they go, what are you talking about?
Right.
That's what they're thinking.
I think they thought that meant we were coming. No, we're not coming. Not yet. Yep. So, the Saints had a win, and they look pretty good. So you think that they can win
did
some more
things.
games?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't care about the wins. I haven't paid attention to it. I'm just looking at people and how they perform.
Well, how did that attendance look on Sunday compared to the attendance on Saturday? Of course, we had state championship games on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but we had a really big one with Purple and Gold at Nakarra High School and Purple and Gold St. Aug High School championship battle.
Yeah. I told people, they're not going to do 40,000 people like 1978 because the population isn't here anymore.
Right.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. But they'll have a good crowd, and they did have a good crowd. Now, I don't know. They said 34,500.
Yeah.
And then in my good friend Rod Walker, in his column, he said 31,000. So my question is, it was 34,500 attendance for the day.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because there was a game before.
That's right.
A really good game, too, between 2 really good teams from up in North Louisiana. So does that mean they had 3,000 for that one and 31,000 for, I don't know. Right. But anyway, it was 34,500 was what they announced.
Yeah.
Which was a good crowd.
And there was a winner.
Which is about what I expected.
And there was a winner.
And that wasn't a surprise.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a surprise.
Congratulations to the Carr Cougars.
And it wasn't a surprise the manner in which they did it.
Boy,
because that's what they've done to everyone.
That's what
for the
they
last
do.
4 years, except
Yeah.
Catholic of Baton Rouge
Yeah.
and this year, and a very, very good team from Florida, a nationally ranked team, American Heritage. They beat them in overtime and beat Catholic by 7 the week before in the semifinals. But as far as playing against, teams in their district, in the Catholic League, and local teams and other teams in state, that's what they do to everybody.
Well, they got another one. They got another one. There's no question they are a powerhouse.
And this was one of the great high school teams, this year and last year especially. One of the great high school teams in the history of the city of New Orleans.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Absolutely.
It's that simple.
Well, congrats to them from this Purple Night to all you Purple and Gold Cougars. Congratulations. Not only did you deserve it, you had an incredible season, and you had quite a game on Saturday. We're going to be going to break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to Randy Heyman, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Sewage and Water Board, talking about our drainage issues in the city of New Orleans, and we'll also be talking about the what happened in the legislative special session. We expect to hear from State Representative Candace Newell as well. When we come back, right after the break, WBOK, 12:30 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Norman Robinson is back.
Can you hear me now?
And he's taking no prisoners.
Can you hear me now?
Each weekday, Norman Robinson brings you commentary with Off the Top.
The incident was shocking, disturbing, disgusting, disappointing, and sad.
Each weekday, Off the Top with Norman Robinson is heard exclusively right here.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule. No excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Hi, I'm Monica Pierre.
And I'm Sally Ann Roberts, and we are the host of your Power is On gospel music show on WBOK Sunday mornings.
Best wishes this time of year. Remember, it's all about faith, family, and food.
Happy holidays, everyone. Enjoy. And remember, your power is on.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton. I'm here with Ro Brown, and we've warmed up a bit since we've been inside. A little chilly, a little cold out there. Not chilly, it's cold out there to me anyway. Well, as promised, we are going to be jumping into conversation with Randy Heyman, the CEO of the New Orleans Sewage and Water Board. As is always the case in New Orleans, everybody talks about the Sewage and Water Board. If you haven't learned that, I think you knew that before you got here.
I did.
Okay. And so, my brother, I know your experience elsewhere, but we feel some different kind of way about Sewage and Water Board here. So we have a different relationship here, and having lived and worked in multiple cities and states, including Philadelphia, where you came from, the relationship between the Philadelphia sewage operation and its citizens is different from this one. So I'm just going to put that out there. But welcome, because here's the thing. We need good leadership.
Yes.
And I'm going to also put something else out there. I know, whether we want to admit it or not, part of our problem is because we haven't invested.
Yes.
I'm going to put that out there. Okay. And so having worked at other utility operations, you certainly know the more intimate part of what that means and what that could look like. But welcome to the Good Morning Show. Welcome to New Orleans, Randy Heyman.
Thank you.
Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
All right.
And and before you tell us who you are, we'll get to the question later. I think what he was telling you, he was asking you, why do you want this job?
Yeah, right.
To make it short, okay?
Yeah, right.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and start with that.
No. Let me say.
All right. Let's give us a little background.
Okay,
we'd like to say who your mom and then.
Okay, well, my background, I'm from St. Louis. Dad was a school principal, taught for 49 years.
What school?
We taught at Sumner High School, the first school west of the Mississippi for African Americans.
Sumner. Arthur Ashe went to Sumner.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He taught Dick Gregory, Arthur Ashe, The Fifth Dimension, Chuck Berry, and all, to name a few. And then he became a principal at Pruitt-Igoe, which was a housing project, major housing project in St. Louis.
Yeah.
In the end, they blew up, and it was terrible. You didn't have health care. You didn't have grocery store, all of that. But that's where he was. And my mother passed, and I ended up going to the school across the street. Once they blew up Pruitt, my sisters and I went to the school across the street. Mm-hmm. In all honesty, St. Louis was starting to desegregate. My dad said, I can't go 2 hours north and 2 hours south with each kid. He had three. Mm-hmm. He said, you're all going to my school. Mm-hmm. Well, we did. But it turned out he had a program with a school called John Burroughs, one of the top private high schools in the country. And he asked the headmaster asked, do you have any kids that can make it here? My dad said, Kathy, John, my son, my daughter, my two daughters, we had to take the test. Yeah. But we did that, and that put us on a trajectory. I went on to Michigan and then on to Georgetown Law. My sister went to Brown and then Northwestern. My other sister went to Georgetown and got her master's in education at Washington University. So dedicated to education. My father went to school, graduated in 1930 from KU, got a master's and bachelor's in psychology. Why did he do it? Because his mother and father went to Philander Smith College, graduated in 1907 and 1908. My dad would tell me, my grandfather would speak Greek and read Latin at home. He studied Romance languages.
Yeah.
And so, but the bottom line is I was a lawyer. I did a lot of work in litigation and in civil litigation and all, but I've worked in on K Street with a real estate law firm, and then I went to Missouri. I was assistant attorney general for the state of Missouri. And I was picked up by a big firm and worked there, and it turned out they had an office in Kansas City. I did that, and then I moved to the St. Louis office where my family was, and then an opportunity. I had been an intern at ABC News with the Nightline and other shows, and it turned out later when I graduated actually from undergrad, I worked at KMOX Radio, CBS Radio, same station Bob Costas worked, and I was the first African American they hired, and actually I was not the first, but I was the first not to have a degree of anyone, not to have a degree in communications, and to be right out of school. And so I was doing that, and then, like I said, went on to law school, came back, had a talk show on ABC Radio called Career Link, and did that. But the bottom line is what happened, I had the executive director on my show one day. 6 months later, he's looking for a general counsel. I walked in his office. He said, "Would you look familiar?" I said, "I should. I held your hand when you were nervous on my radio show."
Right.
I thought I'd only be there for 2 years. I was there for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then I went on to DC Water. I was their general counsel. And then I became a partner at Beveridge and Diamond, the oldest and largest environmental law firm in the country. And then I had an opportunity to become the commissioner and CEO of Philadelphia Water, as you mentioned.
A big one.
Yeah. And so, why do I want to come here? Well, I'll say this. I've been a lawyer, and I've worked, as I said, in water, especially as a lawyer. The only time people call me is when there's a problem. And so I'm comfortable being uncomfortable, and I like helping people. I enjoy public service. And sometimes you just have to roll your sleeves up and get into it and work your way through it. I've found people that I've worked with through the years to be professional and want to do the best that they can. And so you just have to have the courage to jump into the problem and make it happen. But both Philadelphia and here, I pretty much parachuted in and had to learn it quickly, learn the people, learn the politics, learn the infrastructure. But you said something that's very critical that people have to understand, that across the country, not just here, there have been years where we should have looked at making sure we had the funding needed to cover the repairs. And what has happened now, a lot of what's happening across the country is at the end of life. And in Philadelphia, they have a water plan that is $2.5 billion over 25 years. They're going to tear down one of the treatment plants and rebuild it. I tell people, Ben Franklin didn't work there, but I think his brother did.
Right. Yeah. I know that's a significant issue, but Philadelphia system is much larger than this one.
Yes.
So if you're just looking at resume, why move from a big one like that to our size? I worked in Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia, but I love my home city better. But tell us about that trajectory of taking on a smaller one, but with much bigger problems.
Well, that's the key. I was attracted that there were problems and that I could take something. Now look at it. I have moved across the country to try to better myself. Okay, that's one reason I was successful as a lawyer. I think one reason I've been successful in my career, in that I was willing, when I worked at a real estate law firm and they wanted to put me sometimes in a box, I said, no, I want to do litigation work. And if I have to move to do that, I would do it, okay? And so at this point, having worked at 3 other major utilities, it gives me a bag full of experience and a desire to jump in where there are problems and put that knowledge that I have to good use to benefit people. And so we're in a situation here where there are problems and there are issues. I've seen some projections towards solutions, from other places. And so I'm looking forward to trying to implement those as we go forward. But I think the politics, the energy, the problems, and the desire to improve is so strong here that it was like a magnet for me.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, we got some drainage issues.
Yes.
So let me just open it that way and give you an end to talk about our drainage problem and what you've seen elsewhere and how you're looking at it here.
Okay. Well, the drainage issue here is unique in its own way because you have such a situation. You have the water, wastewater, catch basins, drainage system, large diameter, small diameter, much more complex than Philadelphia, St. Louis, and all. With the drainage system, what we've done so far, we've been able to clean out the 9,000 basins. We have been able to remove 10.5 million pounds of sludge and gook out of the system. So we're working hard in doing it. But the truth of the matter is we need more money to make sure that we can do it all. And that's the problem that we have across the system. There's a need for money to make replacements of pipes. There's a need for money to make improvements at the treatment plants and all behind the fence that no one sees. Mm-hmm. The problem we have with water utilities here and across the country is out of sight, out of mind. And so we go years and years thinking, oh, it's okay. But everything has a lifespan. Yeah. And as I said before, it's at the end of life. And so those pipes in the ground, we have to repair them on a set pace, but also the treatment plants that are behind the fence. We have to make sure that we're doing the right thing there to make the corrections. But with the drainage system and all, we're looking, and I've already been to Washington to talk to our lobbyists to try to do what we can to get additional funding. And I called in our financial advisors and put them on fire, on a hot seat to say, listen, whether we win or lose, we are going to push to get as much money as we can in funding to support this utility. And at the end of the day, if we're not successful, I want to be able to say that we gave it everything we had and that they knew us in Baton Rouge, they knew us in Washington, and that we were there. I don't want to just meet with the senators and the congressmen. I want to also meet with their staff people who are actually there putting pen to paper. Mm-hmm. And so that's part of what we're doing. But I'll say, too, tomorrow is a great day.
Right. Because
tomorrow we're going to have the opening of a $300 million power complex. And why is that important? Well, it will bring reliability, energy reliability. We're going to have to enter in a new era of energy generation that will support our drainage pumps, okay? And that's major because currently we have to develop our own electricity. And let me educate the people that don't know. The system we have, needless to say, is very old. And so it uses old electricity currents, okay, or levels of electricity current. And so what has happened, electricity now is at 60 hertz. That's what energy gives you, okay? But the pumps that we use 25 hertz. Now, we had our own turbines that would create the energy for them, okay? But they're getting old, they're costly to repair, and reliability becomes an issue when that is the case. And so I am so glad that the leaders of this city and that the board that we have had the foresight to think long term, put pen to paper, be strategic, make a plan that you're not just fixing it on Friday for someone to go to work on Monday. Mm-hmm. You're thinking years out. It took us 2 years to do the site preparation and 3 years to construct this, $300 million. It took a partnership of the city, the state legislators, and the Fed agencies to develop a plan that will allow us to do this. And now what has happened is we're able to have Entergy, who has been a great partner, come in. They'll have their substation. They'll be able to give us the 60 hertz power. We have static frequency changers that will allow us to change it from 60 to 25 hertz, and then we can distribute that throughout the city to our pump systems. This is major, which will be more cost-effective and will allow it to be more reliable in times of need.
Well, right. This was all done before you arrived.
That is
right?
true.
Yeah, and I'm not. So this is something that I mean, it's the first time I've heard of it. I mean, not that I follow this all the time, but how will I see, and how long will this take for me to see the effects of the power complex? Just the guy who's living on Roman Street.
Well, here's the thing: when a water utility works well, you don't think about it working.
Yeah,
it's everywhere, and it's quiet. And so the bottom line is, what will happen with these pumps? We need the pumps because we're draining. Okay, so if you have a bad storm and we lose power and we're not draining, you're going to see it because bad things will happen. There will be flooding taking place. But if it's working, you'll be able to drive home, drive to work and all, and you won't even think about it on that day other than to think, I'm glad it's not flooding today.
This will enable us to not hear, and people who live here, this particular pump or whatever is down. That's
right.
why this part of the city has this much water or whatever. It will alleviate that.
It will. It will. What will happen is that we'll have more reliable power. It would be more cost effective, and the system will require less maintenance. And ultimately, for the person on the street, it should be the pumps are working, and therefore they're doing what they're supposed to do, and you don't have the flood issues. Now, granted, it's not going to be able to solve every problem.
Sure.
You know, and there still will be flooding at times in different situations that we're going to have to address. Because there's other issues of the system that we have to address, and just where we are, being below sea level. But this will go a long way to developing a sense of reliability and a sense of peace of mind in the community. I think that we didn't have before.
And anybody who has lived here for a number of years, like we have, knows that if it rains, if you get a certain amount of rain in a short period of time, no matter what happens, can't handle it. Will that still be so?
That will still be the case.
Okay.
But the additional flooding that takes place because a pump is down or is not working, or we didn't have the electricity, or we lost power, that will be alleviated. And so your system will be more consistent. And I think in the end, people will notice that there's less damage happening as far as flooding and all, because the system is working more in line with as it should.
So, big news for this to happen tomorrow.
Yes.
I want to follow up on Rose's question, though. It's the average Joe and Joanne, are they likely to feel good about this in tomorrow, in a week, in a month, or they don't really see the effect? Is there any way that their bill will be lowered? Or, why would they feel good about this?
Well, the bill won't be lowered, but what will happen is that they'll have a stronger state of mind, peace of mind, to know that the system is working. Hear me out. The way the system was made before, we had to generate with old equipment the 25 hertz power. The equipment may fail. We may not be able to get the power, and then you had situations where flooding would take place.
Right.
Okay. Now, with Entergy working with us as a partner and having a substation right there in the complex, we're able to tap in for the first time in history directly into the 60 hertz power. That will go to our static frequency changers. We'll be able to change it to 25 and then disperse it with confidence and reliability throughout the city. We have not been able to do it at this level of reliability and confidence ever before.
So that 25 hertz you're limited by that, but a part of the problem has been the reliability of transmitting that energy.
Of our ability to create, which we did the city, I think, did a great job, or the board did a great job of creating that electricity and that power source and did the best they could. This will bring our level of satisfaction and confidence and reliability even higher.
Okay.
And that's what you want when there's a storm.
Yeah.
As best you can.
All right. Now, you've worked at, this is the fourth utility?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How different are we?
Good question. Well, in a lot of ways, you're similar. And in some ways, you're extremely unique. Okay? The similar part is you're not alone. A number of cities have not been able to raise the funds that they needed to maintain their system. There have been other issues that have taken place in urban cities across the country. And so they've used those dollars, those limited funds they had, on other projects, okay? And you could, because a lot of what we did with with water was redone in the 70s and 80s, okay, when we had the Drinking Water Act and all. And so a lot of federal money came in for us to make improvements. You know, I remember when I was with Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District, you could go to Washington and get funding, okay, rather easily. But then there came a period where, one, we weren't putting dollars towards the infrastructure, the water infrastructure. And at the same time, the system is aging. And so you have the two coming together, fewer dollars, aging system, growing needs. And so now we're in a situation we can't wait. You know, but one thing so that's an issue. Having an economic base where there are some difficulties as far as gaining the funds that you need, that's not unique. Okay, that was Philly. Philly was the 6th largest city in the country, but the poorest of the top 10 in the country. And so they had to design programs that would help those who couldn't pay their bill to have a safety net. They had to develop a lot. But I tell people, urban environments, and New Orleans isn't different, doesn't run on gasoline. It runs on H2O. We have to have a reliable system. If we're going to have businesses that come to us and work here and bring their families here, we're going to have a water system that is dependable as far as taking the water to them and then taking that which has to be taken away, cleaning it, and putting it back into system. And what we're doing with the power complex is a major part of that, to develop the confidence that our system is A1, that we're building it. We're going to do more and more to make it better. Now, that's how we're similar, the difficulties we face. But of course, New Orleans has another difficulty, being below sea level, which means a lot of utilities deal with water and wastewater and stormwater. The drainage aspect is unique, okay, because we're below sea level, we have to have the pumps to push that water out, especially when it's raining and it's too much. And so we're dealing with all of that. But one thing I do enjoy, I've never been in a community where the public is so aware of the water issues that affect them daily. And they are aware of the limitations that the utility faces at this time. I have to admit, I've had an extremely warm welcome here, the best I've ever had in my life. And what I enjoy is people come up to me, and, you know, not knowing, I didn't know if they would come up angry and inflamed. Right. But what I found, most people come to me educated and wishful. And they'll come to me and say, we will support SWPNO. If there's a need to raise rates at the proper time, we'll do that. But you, Mr. Heyman, you're going to have to show us what the projects are. Let us have an understanding of how that we're going to benefit from them, stay on schedule, be fiscally responsible. Well, they have a right to that. I don't disagree with that. And we're going to do that.
And I think that was part of the question that Will was asking you, because people here in New Orleans, where I think it'd be different from Philadelphia or in Washington, you know, they know about these issues because they got to live through it.
Very well.
There was no sewage and water board from I know until like the 1890s, wherever it was. Okay. So, I mean, you know, people, because of our geography, I mean, we flooded all the time before that, you know, I mean, real frequently. I mean, very, very frequently. They lived with flooding. And so I think people here, I mean, we kind of know what, like I said, I mean, somebody dumb like me can tell you, if it rains this amount of inches, this is what, we all know that. That's stuff that people in New Orleans know. So yeah, I mean, you're right about that. I mean, we are, pretty educated about that. One thing I wanted to ask you about is how much would it cost to change the pipes and all? Because, I mean, as a child, I mean, just watching men do work on the streets and all, I mean, some of the pipes even then, I mean, they were like archaeological finds.
Well, the pipes.
I mean, that should be in a museum or something, and a lot of these pipes they're 100 years old and still there.
That is true. That is true. And so the engineers try to use a matrix to understand which pipes need to be changed at the proper time. I would say this, there is a need for additional funding, and we need to think outside the box to see what can we do to make improvements. But at the same time, we are making advancement. With the consent decree that we had with EPA after Katrina, that is coming to an end. And so we've been able to change a number of the wastewater pipes, and so that is good. And so we're able to finish that part of it, changing the pipes in October, and in the first quarter we'll have the repaving will be done. Okay, so that's an advancement, and that took forethought in an organization. So that's good. But at the same time, there's a lot more, and you're right. We do have aging pipes. We have an aging actual facility, treatment plants. For that, we have on the water side, we have a water master plan. Like I talked, Philadelphia had one. We have one where we put pen to paper, and that plan will be finished in the first quarter of next year. And at that point, we'll be able to put forward some projects, a number of projects that we'll do. Now, in Philadelphia, there were 400 projects. Like I said, it was $2.5 billion over 25 years, 400 projects. I don't have the exact figures today to share with you, but it will be a multitude of projects that must be done to improve the treatment plants, okay? And then we will put the money in the organization for that.
So, Sewage and Water Board owes the city of New Orleans money?
That is true.
Where do we stand with the $87.5 million and the $23 million part of that? I think those numbers are close to right.
Yeah.
But of course, it's been a big issue for the city because the city needs revenue, needs money.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the status of that financial relationship.
Sure, I would be glad to. One thing I have to say is that the city has been an excellent partner. I am, being new to the city, I am impressed with how the city has helped the board and how the board has helped the city. And so when you're correct, it's about, about $85 million that we owe. Now, in some cases, there were settlement money that the city had, and we were working on projects, and they might pay for something that we had to do, and we might have paid for something when they didn't have the right cash flow that they had to do, a partnership. And so in most of those cases, we had CEAs, which are contracts, saying that we'll pay. And some of those contracts said, SWIBNO, the board, will pay once we receive grants, okay? Not due on Friday, but when we receive grant money, we'll make that payment. And so what has happened is we're in line with all of our all of our CEAs, all of our contracts. We've abided by the terms of them. We had said earlier we would pay $20 million by the end of December.
You're on track to do that?
And we're on track to do that.
Okay.
And yes, absolutely. And also, too, when I was before the city council 2 weeks ago, the question was, well, can you do, I think it was $29 million by the end of 2026? And so we agreed to do that. And so we're living up to our responsibility in the terms of the contracts, and we'll continue to. And at the same time, there is a true-up that takes place. We've given them project money. They have helped us with projects, and we owe them. So there's a true-up that takes place in the accounting phase. But at the same time, we are in line with the contract terms.
How long are you going to stay at the Sewage and Water Board?
Till the end of time. No, in all honesty, I plan to stay. I'm excited. And maybe I'm just different. Maybe it has to do a lot with my father, his determination. He was there 49 years. You know, he felt he was making a difference. I met Dick Gregory when I was getting sworn in at the Supreme Court of the United States. I walked into the Capitol Hilton Hotel, dropped my mother and sister off. I had to park the car. I come back. There's Dick Gregory holding court in the middle of the bar.
As he did all the time.
And and I walked in and I told my dad taught him. And he said, "Who's your daddy?" I said, "Robert Heyman." He said, "Bob Heyman's your daddy?" He said, "Bob Heyman helped a lot of people." That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
That's the life I want to live, through sewage and water and protecting the health and safety of New Orleans. So I plan on staying.
All right. All right. Very good. Well, again, welcome to New Orleans and welcome to the challenges of sewers and water board. You got tremendous experience. We're expecting big things because we want to live with the water without thinking about it. I like that idea.
People here think about it.
Yeah, we think about it a lot. But it would be wonderful to reach that point. So thank you so much for joining us here on the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK. When we come back, we're going to be bringing you more news and information. And don't forget, we're going to have a conversation with State Representative Candace Newell coming up. And we've got much more. Right here on WBOK, 12:30 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
That everyone always wants more of a good thing, more rewards, more savings, more special offers? Well, when you become a new member of the Fuel Rewards program at Shell, that's exactly what you get, more. Join today to save 10 cents per gallon on your first fill, 20 cents on the second, and 30 cents on the third. Then enjoy everyday savings afterwards. Want more? Then head to Shell where members get more.
Offer valid from 4/21/25 through 10/31/25 at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com/join25 for more information.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Losing a loved one is tough enough. Do you really want your family dealing with court battles and paperwork on top of it?
Whether you choose a will or a trust, think ahead. Take care of your family. Let them focus on healing instead of headaches. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
Hey, what's up, good people? This is Gerard Stevens wishing you and yours the best of the holiday season. Be safe and, of course, keep it locked.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Minnesota Somali American Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is firing back at President Trump over his immigration remarks. On CBS's Face the Nation, Omar called Trump's comments disgusting.
This level of dehumanizing can lead to dangerous actions by people who listen to the president.
The president claimed Somali immigrants have ruined Minnesota and said Omar should have never been in Congress. A grand jury has again declined to indict Black New York Attorney General Letitia James over mortgage fraud claims. Earlier charges of bank fraud and false statements were dismissed. James denies wrongdoing. And President Trump honored this year's Kennedy Center recipients at the White House Saturday, presenting medals to Sylvester Stallone, Gloria Gaynor, and rock band Kiss. Country star George Strait and actor Michael Crawford were also recognized. Trump later joined the honorees for a State Department dinner. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Let's take a moment to celebrate great things happening inside our schools. NOLA Public Schools achieved a B District Performance Letter Grade. Orleans now exceeds its pre-COVID district performance for all students by more than 8 points. For the second year in a row, Black students from New Orleans outperformed the state average in all peer districts. For all other subgroups, economic disadvantaged students, multilingual learners, and students with disabilities, we also saw growth. Let's keep up the amazing work.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK. We thank you all for listening on AM or the internet or on Facebook Live where you're watching and listening. It is 8:06 a.m., and don't forget, school zone speed limits are in effect until 9 a.m., so please be careful. I'm Will Sutton, and with me is Ro Brown.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Quite a conversation with Mr. Heyman.
Yeah.
You know, it's he said he's had the warmest greeting of any place that he's been, and he's been to several places.
That's not surprising.
Yeah. So that's a part of what we do. But he also said people let him know what's on their mind.
Yep. That's not surprising either. That also is not surprising. You know? Yeah, it's, you know, like I said, I mean, I would think that's what would make us unique. He said that people don't talk about it and don't worry about it when it's working. And, I mean, we live in a place where, you know, even if it's working, sometimes it's not working or it can't work. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, we're kind of different in that regard.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by water.
We are in below sea level. Mm-hmm. So entirely different operation from what he's experienced before. But it's good to know that he's here to help us move through that. And we look forward to the big opening this week, and seeing what kind of impact that can have on our lives. So now there were some other storylines, I think, out of the Car St. Aug state championship, and one of those is that I believe it's 15 of the car players getting D1 level scholarships?
Yes.
Is that right?
15, and actually Coach Bryce Brown said at the post-game press conference it's up to 16 now. Yeah, that's
not a lot of
that's unusual.
Not a lot of teams getting that.
No, that's not normal.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some very good and storied high school football programs all across the country. High school programs that, you know, people who, you know, in sports know, you know, and they're thousands of miles away, but they know these programs, and, you know, they don't do that.
Yeah, as you know, we lived in northern Louisiana before I came home to New Orleans, and one of those storied programs is West Monroe.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're all, you know, beating their chest with 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, you know, and that's good. Yeah, that's great. You know, I mean, programs across the country, you know, so like a Moeller High School in Ohio and Northwestern High School down in Miami, Florida, and, you know, the De La Salle High School out in California that went, you know, 8, 9, 10 years without losing a game, you know. Yeah. But I don't think I've ever heard of 15 in 1 year.
Yeah.
O. Perry Walker, when Frank Wilson was the coach, they had a year or two where they had like 8. And that was a lot, you know, somewhere in there, 8 or 9. And, you know, I think one of the storylines also was your column, what you talked about in your column.
Yeah.
You know, the meaning of the game and that sort of thing. And, you know, you know, but talking about, you know, I want you to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, with the number of people. Number of young men who are signing these, you know, college scholarships and, you know, from a football standpoint for people who, you know, want to talk about it in that regard, you know, you look at St. Augustine and said, yeah, maybe they don't have 15 people. And part of that is because, they have a lot of young people on the team. They're coming back next year. A lot of, they're underclassmen. They're not seniors. And the other thing I think that I want to point out with these 16 now car Division I signees, I think they're all going early. In other words, next month they'll be at college. Richard Anderson's going to be at LSU next year, next month, not next year. Okay. Hayward Howard is going to be at the University of Texas next month. Okay. He's not going to be at Carr. Okay. He's going to be there.
And what does that mean?
Well,
that you're showing up before the traditional fall, which means August.
They get
enrollment. What does that mean?
They get to go. Well, from a football standpoint, they get to go through spring practice. Okay. They'll be practicing with the team in March?
Yeah.
Or whenever, these schools have their spring practice, and, you're in college. They probably not give you that much of a workload yet, but enough for you to get kind of acclimated to things, and accustomed to things. So, so that's the advantage of it, instead of showing up in August and, seeing that the people are bigger and stronger and, and the classes are different and the professors are different. You get a little time to get acclimated.
How do you graduate from high school?
I'm not, hey, I look, I'm old. I'm not sure how they do that, but people graduate in December, can graduate in December now, When my daughter left for Katrina, she went to Dominican for 1 week or 2 weeks. Katrina hit, and she ended up at Merrillville High School in Merrillville, Indiana. And when she got there and the consuls looked at her, units and credits and all, and she said, the consular told her, okay, you could be finished in December. Okay, you don't have, you could just, stop coming to school in December if you want to. And, well, she didn't want to do that, she said, well, what am I going to do with all that time? And so, yeah, I guess there are ways that you do that. It happens frequently. It's not something that's, Well, a lot of highly recruited people, they try to get on basketball. It's done and everything.
Yeah.
And people a whole year. They get out a whole year early.
Well, kudos to Carr once again, and kudos for St. Augustine.
But what about your column?
And
the gist of your columm. Okay.
Yeah, I wrote a column Friday after the show. We're talking with Jamar McNeely and Austin Taylor from, Jamar McNeely from Inspire Charter Schools, Edna Carr program, part of that organization, and Austin Taylor from St. Aug, president, CEO. And I going into the weekend, as the week was building, I just felt like there was this tremendous Black love and joy and excellence, and so I wrote a column that I didn't really expect, to have lots of attention on it, but it ended up getting quite
lots of attention.
Lots of attention, a lot of views.
That's how it usually works.
I wanted people to think about, we're having this football game, and it's a big deal, but we are having two excellent high schools with two excellent high school programs, and they have excellent football teams, and they have excellent students, and they're great examples for our community. And certainly I couldn't have said this before the weekend, but I love how things turned out. As a Purple Knight, I love that we were there and that we were in the game. I don't love the score as a St. Aug fan, but I love that there was so much Black joy, so much Black excellence. And it's so different going into the Dome during a high school championship and seeing all those kids who are not on the field.
Mm-hmm.
They're like in the stands and in the seats and everything, in the families. And because it's not everybody that can afford a Saints ticket.
Right.
But a number of families, kids, students were there. And it was a good vibe. As my wife and I were walking around, it's like, they're so young.
Yeah, well,
and they are young, but it was great. And, I mean, it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Glad to have been there.
Exactly. Well, that's one of the reasons why, I, in my time doing this, one of the reasons why, well, I'll just say it. I was one of the first people, and maybe the first person to really, really cover high school sports in this town on television. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I did it because, I like covering the Saints, and I like covering college and, and the big people, but there was just always something different about high school sports. And one of the things that I always liked about high school sports was that, and this happens with this particular weekend, there were 8 games there. And, most of the other teams, none of the other teams had 15 Division I signees.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Most of the other teams, everybody on the team, if you were a 12th grader last weekend, you were playing your last football game.
Right.
You weren't going to play another football game.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Because you are a all-state tackle, but you weigh 190 pounds. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
But you are an all-state tackle, and you're very good. Okay. But you weigh 190 pounds. You are not playing any more football after this because you are not physically big enough.
Yeah.
But they get out there, they play the game.
Yeah.
They're well coached. All the teams that at that time, are still playing in the championship.
Yeah.
They're well coached, and they're disciplined. They listen to their coaches, and it's just, that's why I like high school football.
All right, we got
high school sports.
Good morning, Raquel. Good morning. You're on with Will Sutton and Ro Brown. How are you?
All right, Will. How you doing?
Fabulous.
I hope I've been, truly missed.
Absolutely. Been wondering where you've been.
Yeah, well, I still have a little bit of here and there, all over the place in the house, but I'm getting there. The boxes are coming down. I promise, Will.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
I just wanted to still call and definitely not miss this opportunity to definitely tell you that I'm still in awe about this weekend in this game and how historically the game was still overall and still will be in, times to come. And I must say, Will, that you and, your SA family, y'all still should still stand proud with that shield and that helmet and that sword because, the whole overall weekend was fabulous for both institutions. And I must say that they conducted themselves so well. Didn't hear about no fights after the game. No,
that's right.
Confrontations inside the dome, when I say I'm just in awe. I'm just so proud of just being a New Orleanian, let alone, being, associated with any one of the institutions that were in the championship, which I might, add, that I'm a little backgroundish for us with the St. Aug family. My middle boy, dad was a knight. He passed in 4 years ago, and I had to pay homage to him. I went to the school and purchased a T-shirt. I made sure I had SA on this weekend,
okay.
So I think I get a bell for that one.
All right.
I wasn't a Carl Kruger. I was an SA. I promise, Will.
All right. Very good.
I just wanted to say congratulations still on that matchup and that meeting. Y'all did so well, Will, and congratulations again.
All right. Well, thank you, Raquel. Appreciate it. Have a blessed day.
All right. You too.
All right. Well, a lot of people felt a lot of joy for lots of reasons
Sure.
with that.
Of course.
And both programs, I think it's fair to say, will be back.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be back.
Oh, yeah,
And
absolutely.
we'll be strong.
Mhm.
Whether we'll see this matchup again, I don't know. But certainly Edna Carr has a track record of returning to the Dome.
Yeah. I've gone on record saying that it's the best 10 or 11-year run of any coach.
Yeah.
And to me, in prep sports here in New Orleans.
Wonderful. Yeah. Yep. Well, the New Orleans police are looking for the public's help with finding a 50-year-old Naomi Fortson who suffers from medical conditions. So 50-year-old been missing since the weekend. She's a black female, 6 foot tall, about 168 pounds, long gray hair. Last seen wearing a brown skirt and gray hooded sweatshirt. And that was in the 8500 block of Gervais Street. Went out to pick up something.
Wow.
Yeah. But has difficulty walking, and family says she's extremely vulnerable. So if you see a woman who matches that description or even close, let the 7th District detectives know at 504-658-6070, 504-658-6070, or call Crime Stoppers 504-822-1111. Crime Stoppers, once again, 504-822-1111. Looks like there's some developments on the Brown University front. Looks like they might be releasing the person that they were talking to. So
You said they released him?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
That's bad situation.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed.
And how about Rob Reiner?
Well, Rob Weiner and wife. Oh
Yeah.
man. Overnight we got news of Rob Weiner and his wife.
It says that actor, director, and political activist Rob Reiner and his wife were found dead in their Los Angeles home on Sunday, and police detectives are investigating the circumstances as an apparent homicide. While police declined to publicly identify the two people found deceased. Mayor Karen Bass and California Governor Gavin Newsom each released statements confirming that Reiner, 78, and his wife, Michelle, 68, had died. For those of you who don't know, Rob Reiner, if you watched All in the Family, was the meathead son-in-law.
Yes, right.
And the son of Carl Reiner, the great, comedic writer and everything. And Rob Reiner became a director and filmmaker himself of note. So, yeah, that's, wow. That's tragic.
Apparent homicide, they're saying, and they were interviewing a family member who they didn't identify. And, of course, it could be a family member who showed up at the house and nobody answered.
Yeah.
We don't know the circumstances of interviewing that family member.
Yeah, like I said, he was a director of, movies that people, so, Stand By Me and When Harry Met Sally and all that stuff. Yeah. So that was also known for his liberal activism.
Very liberal, very activist, very vocal.
Yes.
Very vocal.
Very vocal. Very vocal, vocal enough to where somebody in the White House even talked about him frequently.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking some more about news and information that you want to know. And we plan to hear from State Representative Candace Newell as well. The talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. I'm Will Sutton. This is Ro Brown. With me, you're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long. All right.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good Monday morning. I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. With another frigid night ahead, be sure to protect your homes. Wrapping your pipes and letting your faucets drip are measures plumbers say are crucial for homeowners to take during this freezing temperature time. Plumbers also say you can open your cabinets and let indoor air surround pipes under sinks. Also, municipal and traffic court in New Orleans on Perdido will be closed today. We're told that's due to insufficient heating. It's set to reopen tomorrow. Also, New Orleans is activating its citywide freeze plan, opening shelters at the Salvation Army on Claiborne, Low Barrier Shelter on Gravier Street, and Rosenwald Recreation Center on South Broad. Those shelters open starting at 9 a.m. The Leah Chase School will open its doors today for a series of meetings with the community and partnering organizations. Today's school meeting is set for 3:30 p.m., 4 p.m., and 6 p.m. It comes as the school faces a deficit and decline in enrollment, leading to discussions over the future of the school. The Chase family wrote a letter to the Orleans Parish School Board calling for the school to remain open. The Leah Chase School first opened its doors in 2024. And Edna Karr will celebrate their state championship victory with a parade today. The Cougars are back-to-back title winners after beating the Purple Knights on Saturday, and y'all, the game was electric. Karr's championship parade begins at 2:30 p.m. at the Berman Park and will roll to Edna Karr High School. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK. Have a great day.
This is Charla from the WBOK sales team, wishing you and yours a very happy holiday season.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Very cold day ahead. A cold weather advisory is in effect this morning as temperatures will feel like the teens and the 20s. After that, mostly sunny today with highs ranging from 46 to 50 degrees. It's also going to be on the breezy side, so temperatures will feel colder than the actual temperature all throughout the day. Lows for tonight ranging from 25 to 39, then we're warming back up to the 60s and 70s later this week. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Tired of the impersonal one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
New Orleans, the city of festivals and second chances. This is Mr. Rocky of Faithers in Jesus the Christ, inviting everyone to come to the table of grace. No matter where you are or what you're dealing with, guilt, bad habits, mistakes, or heavy hearts, Jesus still calls us his friend, and his grace is waiting for us. On the first Sunday of the year, January 4th, 2026, at 8:30 a.m., tune in to WBOK, 12:30 a.m., or watch live on Facebook or Instagram. We'll reflect on his work on the cross, his resurrection, his ascension, and the hope of his return for we who that believe and have received him by faith. So join us at the table of grace, where mercy is fresh, forgiveness is real, and grace is served for people like you and me.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to WBOK. It is 8:31 a.m. I'm Will Sutton, and with me is Ro Brown.
Good morning.
Thank you for staying. I'm glad you didn't run out.
Well, you know, it's cold out there.
Stay where it's cold.
It's the only reason why I stayed. It's cold out there.
All right. Well, remember, folks, the school zone speed limits are still in effect. Please, please, please take your time. Be safe to protect yourself and watch out for yourself so that you can watch out for others. We need to make sure we take care of our babies. Mm-hmm. Those speed limits are there for a reason. So, no, don't go 26 and say I'm driving slow. That's not good enough. And they are our babies. They're our future. And even if they're in high school and they got hair on their armpits and hair on their face, they're still our babies. So watch out for them. And shout out to the assistant principals on the transportation duty out there in the cold today, shuffling people from one place to another. Well, as promised before the break, we're going to be jumping into conversation with State Representative Candace New.
Yes.
Good morning, and welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning. It's Candace Newell.
Newell. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
quite
sorry.
all
No,
right.
I'm sorry.
Everyone
All right,
does
jumped. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And it's been a little while since you've been at the Good Morning Show.
It's been a minute.
We are glad that you are here. And been a little while. We've been trying to get you on.
Yes.
But I'm glad that it worked out. And even though we're not in session, there's still a lot of important things going on. But let's just catch people up.
Yes.
Since it's been a little bit since you've been here, tell people a little bit about who you were before you were state rep, and your role as state rep.
Well, I wore many hats before I became a state representative. Many moons ago, I was a teacher at one time.
Yep.
I taught at Gaudet, and then I was at High School District Learning Center, which moved to Bell. So we're talking some years ago. Then I moved on and became I was the procurement manager for the City of New Orleans Health Clinics. Then I became a financial assistance advisor at Delgado, and that is when I decided to go to law school. When I was at Delgado, I quit there and went to law school only 3 years after buying my first house.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, who does this?
Yeah, all right.
There I interned my second year in law school. I interned with the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus. And my last year, I was Senator Wesley Bishop's legislative assistant during session. And I guess that's when I got bit by the bug and wanted to run for politics. When I graduated, when I finished law school and right after I took the bar exam, I started working as the director of board relations for Surgeon Water Board. And from there, I decided to run for office. And here we are.
All right. All right.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
I've been on office 6 years. So
happy you did it?
Yes. And in between time, I was a bartender for 13 years.
All right now.
In between time.
Yes.
For 13 years in between time.
All right.
I used that money to pay my way through grad school and through law school and, cover bills while I was in school. So
yeah.
But I don't do that anymore. I've retired from bartending.
All right. But you know how to do it.
I still know how to do it.
That's good. You never lose it. You know,
Yeah.
you never know when you might need it.
That's
Miss Newell?
I've had to use it, help some of my colleagues make it through sessions.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yes.
You probably use it in the Capitol.
Oh boy! So the state legislature is not in session now, but y'all had a special session.
We did.
Focused on the timing of some elections and closed primary elections in particular.
Yes.
So catch people up. Maybe they've forgotten about what that special session was about.
Well, fortunately and unfortunately, I did not forget what that special session was about. It was drafted to say that we were giving people more time, giving those who wanted to run for office more time, the citizens who were going to vote, the voters giving them more time, but it didn't. What we did was push the qualifying period for Congress back from January to February. The election moved from March to April. But what is really happening, because that sounds great on its face, but what's really happening is we're waiting right now for the decision from the Supreme Court on the Calais case. And if it's seen that that map was unconstitutional because it focused too much on race, if the Supreme Court sees that, we're possibly going to be in a special session in early January. That's if the decision comes out this month,
right?
Which they're still anticipating receiving a decision before Christmas, although the Supreme Court normally doesn't put their decisions out until early spring. But some of my colleagues are anticipating that decision to come out now. And if that happens, if we need to redraw, we're looking at a special session in January. That would give the Secretary of State enough time to redo the
congressional maps?
Not the maps, the ballot.
The
to
ballot.
Make sure the ballot matches the new districts that are drawn.
Mm-hmm.
But what it also does is takes away any opportunity for someone to challenge those maps. Because if the special session is happening in January, those maps approved, qualifying is in February, no court is going to touch that because it's too short a period of time using the Purcell factors to make a decision. And that's all we have right now because the Democrats, we are at 32 of us now. And then we just had elections where we lost 2 of our Orleans delegation members in the House. So we need to do a special election for that. So we're going to be at a great disadvantage. We don't have help in the administrative branch. And all we have is the judicial branch of government. But this timing is going to take away citizens' opportunity to utilize all 3 levels of government to help them get fairness in representation.
So, and that Calais case is all about redistricting.
Yes.
And Louisiana plays a central role with the Calais case.
Yes.
That was already argued before the U.S. Supreme Court and then re-argued before the Supreme Court. And so some are anticipating a decision could come this month. But the Supreme Court has no obligation to make such a decision now. I mean, they could wait till next summer.
They could.
And wait. But it appears the Republican-dominated Louisiana legislature is hoping for a decision this month, as are other Republican legislators in other states.
Yes, because
so that some changes could be done after the new year.
Because although this is a Louisiana case, of course, the outcome would have effects across the country. We would be looking at possibly losing 19 seats across the country. And the way certain maps will go in different states, it'll look like the Republicans will get 27 new seats in Congress. We already have maps here that some of our colleagues have already drafted in anticipation of this that take away both of the congressional seats we have here, our two minority seats for Congressman Fields and Carter. And so they're already primed.
Which is crazy just to even think about. I mean, here we are, more than 30% of the population of us black folks, and you're going to say we don't have any representation, and that's okay?
I don't see it as okay, but of course some of my colleagues do, because it says it shouldn't be about race. It should be about what the issues are, but you're not voting on issues that are helpful to everyone. You're not voting on issues, and that's evident to me by some of the legislation they introduce year after year, that you're not looking at representing everyone. So it has to be about it has to be about someone that represents me, that understands where I'm from. And even if that's a Democrat, a white Democrat, I'll take that. Do I want that? Absolutely not. Because representation matters, especially for our babies that you just talked about. Them seeing themselves on every level is so crucial. And to take that away, I think would just be totally, totally devastating.
You know, Congressman Carter is on here every Thursday.
Yes.
And almost every week at some point, well, it seems that you ask him, or you want to ask him, or people call and ask him, what's it like to be in a legislative body where you kind of know that you don't have a shot? Okay. And by that, I mean that you know that, all the cards are against you for what you want to do. How do you handle that?
It has been hard. I've been in the legislature 6 years, and I thank the Lord every day that I had the opportunity to serve when John Bell was the governor, because even though we didn't have the numbers on the floor, we knew we had help on the fourth floor. We no longer have that help. So now it is pleading to my constituents, please come to the Capitol. Put your voice, your experience on the record. Because right now, what most of us are leaning on is the fact that we still have the judicial branch to help us. We put as much as we can on the record, so if someone does challenge a piece of legislation that we have, no matter what it is, not just these maps, because we've seen there was a challenge to mandating the 10 Commandments in the classroom.
Right.
That was because of what people said on the record. Constituents coming into the Capitol, putting their concerns on the record. Legislators making floor speeches, asking questions on the floor. So it's frustrating to know that we Democrats can't make a difference with the vote all the time. And we have to rely on that third branch.
Yeah.
We have to rely on it. And it's like you put all this work in, but to get that outcome, you have to rely on one other person. It takes it out your hand. And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
My wife is from Indiana. And when she came here, and I don't remember, something on television, and a guy's face came up, and I said, oh, that's Skelly Wright. And she asked me, how do you know the name of a judge? And I said, well, because those particular judges had a lot to do with how my life went. Because they were on the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals.
Yes.
And they did all, the desegregation stuff and that sort of thing. And now it seems like, the judicial is eroding.
Yes.
In that regard for what you're talking about.
Yes,
the Fifth Circuit Court now wouldn't do what the Fifth Circuit Court did 60 years ago.
We don't, but we do have some other judges across the state. And Judge Shelley Dick is my hero. She is my hero, you know, just from, she was the first, I think she was the first judge, had the first hearing on redistricting. But we're still relying on them. We're still hopeful and thankful that we still have some of the Clinton appointees. Thank the Lord we still have Obama judges, as my colleagues like to call them. And we're getting back on a first name basis with some judges.
I bet.
Some good, some bad. But they do help shape the way the future is going to go. And this, being in the legislature and starting this redistricting, it made me, once again, I have many, many reasons to be happy and proud to be a true New Orleanian, but it gave me a different sense and a different appreciation of what people in other parishes have been dealing with their whole lives. Because I don't remember a time when there were not Black people in leadership. And I've always saw it. So I just thought, this is what's needed. This is what's happening everywhere. Because when I was born, Sidney Bartholomew was the mayor. We had Black people to look up to as leaders. Councilman Singleton was there. Bill Jefferson was in office as a child. I remember in high school, I went home and told my mom, I said, you got to vote for this guy. He's young like me. Because I thought Cleo Fields was my age.
Yeah, right.
So I always saw a Black person in leadership. So getting to Baton Rouge and listening to so many of my colleagues saying that they are the first, being elected in 2020 to be the first Black person in that area to be elected, that bothered me. Because hearing that and then seeing where the Black community was economically and for education, I'm like, something has got to change, because who is representing their interests?
Right.
If you at 38 are the first Black person voted in office in your area. And it just gave me another appreciation for being from New Orleans and having seen that. But it also made me sad because you have so many people in office for years and they're supposed to represent a district, but you're leaving out a whole portion of your district with no voice because you don't care. You don't care what they're going through to represent them to the fullest capacity in Baton Rouge. And that's just really disheartening. And it's really ticking me off that we've been doing this redistricting for 6 years and we're not finished.
And the state legislature already agreed to the existing maps. And now it's like, oh.
I changed my mind.
We don't like that after all. We
do not.
So let's say there is a Supreme Court decision in Calais this month. And let's say it happens before Christmas. How soon would you expect Governor Landry to call a special session? And realistically, when could that be scheduled? And what would that session likely focus on?
I would not be surprised that if that decision comes out before Christmas, I would not be surprised that we get an email that says be prepared to be here on the 2nd or the 3rd of January.
Friday or Saturday. New Year's weekend. I would not be surprised for that to call out. And it would definitely be focused on just maps.
Maps maybe looking at postponing the closed primaries. We're supposed to start that. But I could possibly see that early. Because you do have Mardi Gras.
Right.
Excuse me. And there's a DC Mardi Gras as well.
Right.
That happens closer to the end of the month of January. So again, possibly that first or second week in January. And it may only be for a week. You saw how quickly we rushed through this last special session.
Right,
We were supposed to be there for 3 weeks. I don't think we were there for a whole 7 days. And we can work on Saturday. The Senate worked on Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So you're losing some New Orleans colleagues from the state legislature. Talk to us about what that feels like and losing that institutional knowledge, if you will. Because, but, you know, on the other hand, at one point, you were freshmen.
At one point, I was.
At one point, they were freshmen.
This is true.
But, you know, when you get in there and you get reelected you learn from your first year into the second, and then you're campaigning again, and then you realize which committees you really want to be on and where you can have an impact.
Yeah.
But what's it feel like to think about losing these colleagues with the type of things that we're up against?
It was bittersweet, happy and sad. First, Senator Bowie left, but Suno needs him more.
Okay.
And I was happy for him because Senator Bowie was the chancellor at Suno when I was at Suno.
How about that? Okay.
So I was happy that he was going back because I know the work he can do and how passionate he is about education. So I was glad about that, but he had that institutional knowledge when it came to the education department committee, as well as having relationships with some of our colleagues still on the House side and staff on the House as well as on the Senate, since that is where he ultimately retired from. So it's going to be a little bit of a change getting a new senator over there. But the names that I'm hearing of people who are want to run and those who are still thinking about it, I feel hopeful. Some new blood, people who are saying that they work well with building relationships on both sides of the aisle. I'm like, how do you feel about that? And I've been hearing good things. So, again, I'm hopeful. On the House side, Matthew Willard was the chair of the House Democratic Caucus. And as a young man, I was so proud of the leadership that he grabbed and ran with. Working with the Speaker Pro Tem, the chair of the Republican Caucus, he was awesome. Very, very awesome. He worked a lot with creating STEM and STEAM programs across the state. He worked well with just relationship building to try to help us fundraise more, which is helpful because we constantly say we need new Democrats. We need to get more Democrats. We could flip some of these seats, but you can't help a person flip a seat if you don't have money to put behind them. So Rep. Willard was very good about helping with our fundraising so that we could be a stronger party for our own re-elections and bringing the people.
Jason Hughes.
And then Jason Hughes, my neighbor. He's in 100, my friend, my brother. I'm definitely going to miss him. He was that voice of reason. Because sometimes when I'm over there seething and ready, he said, Rep, you got to hold on. You know, keep calm.
Yeah.
We got this. Let's go talk to so-and-so. And again, a young man who had lots of experience. He worked at the Capitol under the Blanco administration. So he still had a lot of relationships with staff all across the state. So losing that type of institutional knowledge is going to be hard to come back, to try to replace, rather.
Right.
But where they are, each of them are where they need to be for such the time that we're in right now. Both Willard and Hughes were on budget and finance committees in the House, so that I think they will be very helpful with City Council, considering the city is at a little deficit right now.
All right. Well, we got a call. Let's take that because we're going to have to get out of the way for the front porch soon.
Gotcha.
Good morning, Reverend Calhoun. You're on with Will Sutton and Ro Brown, and of course, State Representative Kenneth Newell.
Good morning to all. I got a couple of quick questions. Is there any, you aware, Representative, of any organizations that's trying to organize to make sure that we can get transportation to the state capitol if and when it's needed? And I do want to invite all of you Lower 9 people to the annual tree lighting prayer and tree lighting service, toy giveaway service. And thank you, Candace, for your contribution for the toys down here on Sunday at 3 o'clock at the corner of Claiborne and Renee.
All right.
So I'll hang up and listen. Is there any plans or anything being done at this point to organize a transportations to the state capitol is my question.
All right. Have a blessed day, Reverend Calhoun.
Yes, have a good day, Reverend Calhoun. So with the advertisement of the tree lighting, please come to that in the Lower Ninth Ward. It's a very awesome experience. That the Power Coalition, they usually have information on their website about organizations who are providing transportation. Miss Michonne Copeland, we all know Michonne, she has information and contacts for people who have been providing transportation for years to residents in the Lower Ninth Ward to get to the voting polls. And I believe she can also help get information, a contact with getting to the Capitol, as well as Step Up Louisiana. They always bring people.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah.
You know, and Glenda Spears with Gas, that's the name of her company, Gas.
Yeah.
She has been helpful with certain issues and initiatives getting people from New Orleans up to the Capitol. Yeah, she you need a room filled?
Yeah.
Call Miss Glenda Spears.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Figures out a way, huh?
She will figure it out.
Yeah.
She will figure it out.
Wonderful. All right. Well, we're going to have to wrap up and get out of the way for the front porch. How can people touch base with you? Phone, website, social media, in case they're interested in some of the things you talked about today, or more specifically interested in your district and what you're doing.
So again, I'm State Representative Candace Newell. I represent District 99. My email address is HSE Hotel Sierra Echo 099 at legis, legis.gov. That's HSE099 at legis.la.gov. I'm sorry, .la.gov. My office is in the Lakefront Airport.
Yeah,
so,
I saw that.
Yeah.
I was in there one day and I went, wow.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's X now.
X, yeah.
I'm on.
Formerly known as Twitter.
That's formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah.
Showing
All
my
right.
age here, but
All
I'm
right.
on all three platforms. So
All right.
just
Wonderful.
Rep Newell. Just Google that, and
It'll
they'll
pop
show up.
All right, very good. Thanks again for coming with us.
Thanks for having me
on the Good Morning Show this morning, and thanks, Ro, for coming back with me once again.
My pleasure.
Folks, we're going to be wrapping up and making room for the front porch. Good conversation this morning about the Sewage and Water Board with Mr. CEO Randy, and looks like he's committed to making some things happening. And improving our drainage and much more. Brother's got a lot of experience, so
yes, he does.
It's very impressive, and looking forward to seeing what magic he can work with the mess of a system that we've had.
Yes, he's been great to work with so far.
Yeah, great, wonderful, and good conversation with our state rep just now, and of course, congratulations once again to the Etna Carr High School Cougars on the state championship win. All right, we're going to get out of the way for the front porch. They'll be on momentarily, Brenda and Kimba and Graylin, right here on WBOK. The talk line is 504-582-9422 if you want to talk with them. As for me, good Lord willing, I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll be back once again tomorrow. I think I'm going to have OT in tomorrow, so if y'all want to talk to OT, get ready to talk with OT in the morning. You're listening to WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about. Oh.